Welcome to the Trend Micro Deep Security 10 for Administrators video series. This collection of videos provides an overview of tasks that may be required as part of your work as an administrator in Deep Security Manager. In this video lesson, we will demonstrate how Deep Security agents are installed on protected servers and how these servers are added to the computer list. Deep Security Manager can only detect vulnerabilities and implement security on endpoint computers added to the computer list and have a Deep Security agent or Deep Security virtual appliance available. Deep Security agents are the main processing component in Deep Security that implements all the protection technologies for the computers. This includes host intrusion prevention system functionality using the firewall, application control, and intrusion prevention protection modules, host intrusion detection system functionality with integrity monitoring and log inspection protection modules, as well as the anti-malware functionality with the anti-malware and web reputation protection modules. Deep Security Manager will configure all of the protection details that are needed on the computers, and the agent is going to be responsible for enforcing those settings. The Deep Security agent is a small software component that is installed on the host computer. There are instances where you can work without a software agent when using the Deep Security virtual appliance, and this is in cases where you have virtual machines that are hosted on a VMware ESXi server through NSX. Adding computers to the computer list involves the following steps: installing the Deep Security agent on the target computer, adding that particular device to the computer's list, and then activating the Deep Security agent, which will create a connection with the Deep Security Manager to receive the policies and protection settings. Note that the number of steps that are required to perform the add computer operation will vary depending on the method used. In some cases, for example, when you write a script, all three of these operations will be performed in one operation. We will take a look at a few different methods for performing these operations in this video. When you install the Deep Security Agent software, only core functionality is enabled. None of the protection modules are installed until you enable the individual protection modules on the agent computer. When the protection modules are enabled, any plugins or components needed for that protection module are installed. Importing the Deep Security Agent software package, including all the protection module plugins into Deep Security Manager before installing it on your computer will simplify this process. Importing the Deep Security Agent software package also makes it convenient to extract the Deep Security installer from the package through the web console. A few different methods that are available for installing the Deep Security agent is to install it manually. In this case, you extract the Deep Security agent installer from the software package, copy it to the destination computer, and run the installation executable. You can also install a Deep Security agent using a deployment script. In this case, a script is created and the script is executed on the host system using the deployment tool of your choice. And finally, you can also use the native Microsoft installer application to install the Deep Security agent. And in this case, you would distribute the MSI file using whatever software distribution method is used in your organization and execute it through the Microsoft installer with the necessary parameters. Let's go into the Deep Security Manager web console and take a look at the process of installing some Deep Security agents. I've logged into the Deep Security Manager web console as a master administrator, and I've clicked on the Computers menu. Currently, in the computers list, we have one computer, which is our Deep Security Manager Windows Server. In this case, the Deep Security agent was added to the server during the setup routine, and the agent was activated. This populated the computers list with the details of this particular computer. If I double-click on the computer in the computers list, it'll bring up the details. And in this case, we can see that the software agent has been installed. We have activated the agent because it's listed as managed and online. And this device is also functioning as a relay. And this was all done as part of the setup routine. Let's perform the installation of the agent on another system. The first step is to import the software packages into the database through the Deep Security Manager web console. Click the Administration menu, expand Updates, Software, and click the Download Center. In the Download Center, we will see all of the versions of the Deep Security agent that are available. And they're available for multiple operating systems on Linux and on Windows. So our first task is to import these software packages into the Deep Security Manager database. We're going to be installing a Deep Security agent on a CentOS operating system. So in this case, I need the agent for the Red Hat Linux operating system. So I'm going to click Import Now to import this agent. And I also need the software package for the 32-bit and 64-bit Windows. Now note that there are 3 pages of agent software packages. So to limit this search, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the search field and request that only the Windows agents be displayed. And you'll notice we have all of the agents for different versions. And in this case, we want to work with the 10.0 Feature Release 1 agents. So here I have the 32-bit agent, so I'm going to import this now. And the 64-bit agent was already imported as part of the setup routine when we enabled the relay-enabled agent. Under Software Local, I can see a list of all of the agent packages that have been imported, and you'll notice the green check mark tells me that these are the latest versions of the agent packages. In the first example, I'm going to install a Deep Security agent manually. To do this, I need the setup application from the agent package. Right mouse click on the appropriate agent and select Export Installer. So I'm going to save the MSI file to a location where I can get access to it. So I'll put this in a location on my C drive. The installer has completed the download. So let's go to a 64-bit version of Windows and install this particular agent. I'm now on a 64-bit version of Windows 7. I'm going to go into a folder and access the MSI package, which was exported from Deep Security Manager, and double-click to begin the installation of the agent. I'm going to run the file, accept the welcome screen, accept the license agreement, accept the default location, and install. You'll notice the Deep Security Notifier is now enabled, and this will display information about the status of your Deep Security agent on this computer. And click Finish. The Deep Security agent is now installed. let's return to our Deep Security Manager computer and perform the next step, which is to add the computer to the list. I'm back in the Deep Security Manager web console. Click Add, and in this case we're going to add a computer by the host name. The host name for this computer is vm.dsr.training.local. We can assign a policy to this computer from the policy list, and we can also assign a relay group. So we're going to leave this to the default. Click Next, and you'll note here that an unactivated agent was detected on the target computer, and Deep Security Manager automatically activated the agent with the selected policy. So in this case, we don't have to run a separate activation operation. The computer has been created, and you'll notice in the corner there was an activation prompt. Click Close. And this brings up the details for this particular computer, and you'll notice that this computer now has a software agent and is managed, which means it has been activated. The computer is now displayed in the list. In this next example, let's add a computer using a deployment script. Click the Support menu and select Deployment Scripts. Note that a warning banner is displayed. The agent-initiated activation is currently disabled, and you will not be able to activate your agents using a deployment script. This is because the agent-initiated activation must be enabled before you can use the deployment scripts. So let's leave the deployment scripts window for a moment. Go to Administration, System Settings, and on the Agents tab, there is an option here to allow agent-initiated activation. Click Save. The option is now available. You'll notice the policy change that I've just made is being deployed to my computers. Under the Support menu, select Deployment Scripts, and now the banner is no longer displayed. The scripts that are going to be created as part of the Deployment Scripts tool can be deployed on your host operating system using a variety of tools. And you'll note here that some of them are indicated, such as RightScale, Chef, Puppet, Secure Shell, but you can also use things like the Windows Command Prompt or the Linux Terminal. In the dialog box, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select the platform, either Windows or Linux. In Feature Release 1, this platform list has been simplified. All you have to do is select whether it's going to be Linux or Windows, and the appropriate script will be built, and the script will be able to detect the format of Windows or Linux that you're using. Note that there also is an option here to activate the agent automatically after installation. So let's do this so we can perform the activation automatically. And then select some of your options for the agent. For example, which policy is it going to use? Which computer group do we want it to be part of? Which relay group we want it to be part of? And if any proxies are used, which proxy it needs to contact. And then finally, in the dialog box here, you have all of the code for your script. So I'm going to copy the contents of the script, and I'm going to put it into a notepad file. I'm going to save this file to a location that will be accessible to me from the Linux machine. So I'll call this script.txt. All right, so my script is created. Let's go over to our Linux computer and run this script to add the computer and activate the agent. I'm now on my CentOS operating system computer. So the first thing I need to do is I need to access the script that was created by the deployment scripts control in Deep Security Manager Web Console. So I'm going to go to the appropriate location and locate the script file. So here's my script.txt file. I'm going to open it up and copy the contents. So I'm going to close the script editor, and I'm going to go into the terminal. Now you have to be logged in as the root user to be able to execute the script. So I'm just going to quickly change over to the root user. And then just paste in the content of my script. And the script executes. The software is downloaded. It's installed. And the script is completed. So my agent is now installed on the CentOS computer, and because we selected the option to activate the agent automatically, the agent should display as activated in the Deep Security Manager Web Console. So let's return to that computer and take a look. So I'm back in the Deep Security Manager Web Console. I'm going to click on the computers list. And you note that the Linux computer is now displayed. If I double click on it to bring up the details, you'll note that this is an agent running on a Red Hat 7 64-bit operating system, which is what we are going to be using for CentOS. You'll notice that the agent is installed and it is currently managed, which means it has been activated. So in this case, we installed the agent and we activated it in one operation. To simplify administration of the computers in the demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group to organize my two computers. Click Add and click Create Group. I'm going to create a group called Video. With a short explanation. Click Add and close. So now if I click the computers list here, you'll notice the video group is available. I'm going to double click to bring up the details of my Windows agent. Under the group, I'm going to move it into the video group and click Save. And I'm going to do the same for the Red Hat agent on the CentOS computer. I'm going to move it into the video group and click Save. So now the computers that I created as part of this demonstration are stored in their own group. Let's revisit the Add list. If you click Add, you're going to see all of the methods that were available for adding computers to the computer list. In this example, we did an add computer by hostname, and we typed in the hostname of the computer. And in this case, any computers that have an agent will be activated automatically. You can add computers from Active Directory. In this example, what you do is you put in your authentication details for Active Directory, pick a point in the directory tree, and all of the computers that are in that directory tree will be added to the computer list. And in this case, you would have to activate them manually. If you add a VMware vCenter, it's going to bring in all of the virtual machines that are under that vCenter. If you add AWS account, it's going to add all of the cloud accounts that are part of your AWS account, and the same for Azure. When you click Add Azure Account and provide the credentials for your account, it'll bring in all of the virtual machines in your Azure account, and then a similar thing for vCloud. There's also an option to discover computers. In this case, what you'll do is you'll select an IP address range, and Deep Security Manager will scan through that IP address range looking for any computers that are within that range. They'll be added to the list, and then you can install agents and activate the agents on those computers. And finally, under the Add list, there is an option to import from file. So if there are computers in another installation of Deep Security Manager, you can export those computers to an XML file, then import that XML file into this installation of Deep Security Manager, and the computers will be added to the list. This concludes the video on adding computers to Deep Security Manager. Be sure to return to view other videos in the Trend Micro Deep Security for Administrators video series.